Hey everybody, I'm back at it again with my animation reviews. Let me just turn off my phone because it vibrated very loudly there. Airplane mode. Tell me if you can hear me, please. Just hang on 1 second so I can make sure this is going to be silent. There we go. Okay. So today I'm going to be reviewing the portfolio of Donald Chiller. I think that's how you pronounce it. I hope it is. Last week, I realized after the fact that I was trying to show the person's portfolio and everybody else was looking at a black screen. So #awkward. I'm going to try and avoid that happening now. I'm going to try to show you his portfolio. So he's got a very good portfolio. I haven't put it up yet, so don't worry, I haven't made that faux pas again yet. Great stuff. It's very interesting. And there's some really nice shots in there. Just going to bring it up for you now. He goes also as Unknown Dino. Let me see. Okay, hopefully you guys can see that now. So if you can see what I'm seeing, you'll see that there are a lot of shots of dinosaurs, which are really cool. And the animation is really good for the most part. So obviously I'm here to give critiques and feedback. So that's what I'm going to do. Oh gosh. I really hope you can see this now. Okay, thank you. I see that it's not showing yet. I don't know what it is about Twitch. I think it's the whole being live thing or something, but I get something wrong every week without fail. I'll get it sooner or later, I promise. So hopefully you can see this now. Okay, great. So it's there. That is fantastic. One more thing to check off my list of things to not get wrong when I do my reviews. So Donald is a player who skipped debut, and his career goals are hopefully to work in the gaming or movies industry. Well, you've had a good start. Your portfolio is great. So let me switch over now to the other screen over in Sync Sketch so we can get to it. Alrighty, so let's start with the first one here. As usual, I'm going to play it through for you to see it as it just plays out, and then we'll go through it a little bit more slowly. So each of these shots also has a little behind the scenes, which I'll let you see just for interest's sake, because it is interesting always to see how a scene is set up and done. But obviously I'm not going to go and critique the behind the scenes stuff. Alrighty. Okay, so let's go back to the beginning here. Okay, so right off the bat, one thing that kind of stood out for me quite a lot was the plants. They seem quite stiff and they're a little distracting. It's a very cool opening shot. Let me actually say that first. It's a good establishing shot. It makes you already interested in the scene straight away, but the plants are a little distracting. Like I said, they seem quite stiff, almost like papery, and the movement just, it looks like there's maybe a noise modifier or, you know, some sort of modifier or something on them rather than, like, for instance, wind dynamics or physics or something on, if you know what I mean, because they're not all kind of rustling the same pace and they're not kind of blowing in the direction of wind. And throughout the shot, it's just a little bit distracting having that sort of flickering in the background. Also, you'll see there's some flickering with the shadows in there. Having some technical issues here when I try to play. But yeah, over there in the background behind him, you see like quite a lot of flickering in the shadows, and it does detract a little from the shot itself. So another thing that struck me was the framing of the creature. Now, as we saw, obviously, in the breakdown of the shot, it only goes up to the neck, which explains why it is framed like this. But to have this close-up throughout, and it's quite a long shot to have just as a close-up. Usually, I mean, you would have a close-up intercut with other shots. So you use it for impact or to kind of, you know, focus on expressions. If it's a very like emotive scene, you'll go and do a close-up of the character or the creature to see, or like in Jurassic Park for impact, you know, they'll do a quick close-up on like the dinosaur's eye, or like you can see when the dinosaur like smells the person hiding behind the corner. It's really quick. It's not a shot of this length usually, and it is quite long to have it so close up on just his head. You keep expecting it to kind of cut out and see the rest of the body. You also notice with the movement that, and I thought this before I actually saw the end of the shot. The first time I watched it, I felt like there wasn't a body there with the movement of the head going up and down the way that it does. So you can kind of see that there's no body that the neck is attached to that would be controlling the neck. It's kind of just, there's sort of a bone at the bottom of the neck, not quite where the spine would be, that is controlling that movement. And you can see that there isn't really that thought of like what the body would actually be doing below all of this. So you've got this head bobbing up and down in ways where it actually wouldn't if he had a body there. He's moving quite a lot more than what you would expect with what's happening in the shot. So over here, I feel like there could be a little more happening here to sort of indicate, you know, give us some anticipation of the fact that there is another creature or something, or a person or whatever it is behind the camera that he is seeing and reacting to that is drawing his attention, because in the beginning, I feel like it's not that clear that there is another creature or entity behind the camera. And then the scrap of food sort of comes out of nowhere. And you kind of don't even realize that you should be anticipating something like that happening. I know that he's sort of looking, up there and opening his mouth. And once you have the context and you see the food, you're like, oh, okay, that's what was happening there. But before that, you're kind of just confused about what's happening. What is he doing here? Also, with the fact that he has one eye, I feel like he would kind of be turning his head a little more to look at things. So you've got him looking in that direction, and then the food sort of comes from a bit of a different direction. I feel like he should be turning his head to look there, and then you kind of know if his eye is looking there, because at the moment here, we're not too sure of actually where he's looking. It's a bit difficult to see that. So you're not sure what to expect and where to expect it from, if that makes sense. So just a little more anticipation to give us, the context of what's going to happen next there. That's really cool. I like that. That's a unique idea, the way the eye swaps over. I like how you zoomed in just so that we wouldn't miss that. That's cool. It's pretty creepy. When he catches the food, I also feel like there could be a bit more snap to the jaw there, a bit more weight and impact. Like a crocodile has such strong jaws, almost the same sort of vibe as that. So like a really solid snap. So you can also, again, be sure of what happened, because the scrap comes in so quickly that you could almost actually miss what even happened there. So if he could kind of snap his jaws and swing his head down a little as he catches it, and then come back up there, just to have a little bit of a follow through on that action. There is a bit, but I feel like it could be exaggerated a little more. I like that detail as he swallows of it going down his neck. You can see that happening. That's very cool. That like bolus of food going down. That's awesome. There's also a lot going on with the camera movements. So I know it's meant to be like a sort of a handheld, a natural sort of, feeling that you're giving here, but it's a bit too much movement. And with all the head movement going up and down, the camera movement going up and down, a lot of flickering and movement in the background with all the grasses and stuff, it's a lot of visual noise going on at once. So it's fine sitting through here, going through it, but when you watch it through just once, it's a lot going on, I feel like. Cool. So all in all, though, it's a good shot. It's a cool concept for the creature. I like how it zoomed in when the eye swapped over, and it looks really well done. Okay, so the next one is Tree Head. Now, I think this is probably my favorite one because he's really cute. He or she, I mean, who am I to assume? Yeah, I really love that concept of the tree on its head. Super cute. I love that it's like little pink. It's like a cherry blossom or something. I love that. That's awesome. It's a very cute little character. So again, there's a lot of movement on the camera. At least in this shot, there's not so much going on in the background, so it's not as bad, but it's still quite an extreme amount of like tilting and shaking, especially I think it's over here, there. That's quite an extreme camera movement that we've got over there. And, you don't want to make people feel seasick while they're watching your shot. The eye movements lack a bit of purpose. So, it's always better to use eye dots with eye movements. At the moment, the eye is sort of just kind of aimlessly swiveling around, if you know what I mean. An eye will look, and then it'll like dart to there, it'll dart to there, but you're not going to get an eye that's just sort of rotating around in the socket like that. So I would watch out for that. And also, looking at the eye, it's lacking blinking, or at least, like that that membrane, that nictitating membrane that like reptiles sometimes have. So some sort of blink or something there. At the moment, it's a very sort of starey, aimless sort of eye that you've got going on there. I like the tongue. Looks like the tongue is like a twig or something. That's very cool. Yeah, I really like how that works. When he grabs the plant or root or fungus, I guess it looks more like actually, there could be a little more, sort of, what would I call it, like tension there. I mean, he's pulling on it, leans in, grabs it, pulls it into his mouth, and then he's sort of pulling on it, but it's kind of like he's playing around. He's not serious about eating this thing, really. It's like, if I get it, I get it. If I don't, well, I'll move on. And then it snaps off. And, he'd be pulling against that, so his head would kind of flick back a little bit as he gets that thing off, the thing that was pulling against him. So as he breaks it free, his head should kind of go back and then he'll bring it forward again. I guess it kind of goes off to the side there, but I feel like it just could be a little bit more going on there. And this camera gets a little hectic there as well at the end. I feel like there could be a few more settles and moments of stillness because it's like almost constant movement, pretty much. So you see, as he comes up here, he could maybe pause here and look at the thing he's about to eat, be like, oh yeah, I got here, I'm about to eat this little guy. And then he can sort of go in for it, open his mouth, grab it, pull, struggle, pull back, come forward, consider for a bit, chew, keep his neck a little more still here because, it's moving really hectically around here. It's almost as if he's drunk, actually. Does this guy have the munchies? Did he just like go on a bender and this is like his McDonald's and he's actually just trying not to fall over flat? Because maybe he is. He looks a little drunk, do you get what I'm saying? Like his feet are kind of, he's trying to regain his balance this whole time, maybe. But I feel like there's a lot of movement in there, that sort of aimless movement, if you know what I mean. And then the birds fly out and startle him and he's like, oh shit, what's happening? I think he could have gotten maybe, because it looks like he got a fright as they flew off. So it could be he's still here so that, again, to anticipate like something sort of dramatic is going to happen. He's still here. He's chilling because he just ate his nice little treat. And then the birds fly out and he's like, oh, shit. And then he gets a fright. And then he's like looking around. So it's good just to have those few moments of peace, and not complete stillness, but just some time to settle in so people can register what happened and so that their brains can catch up and then they can, understand that there's something that's going to happen next that they need to sort of anticipate. Also, your character, your creature, whatever it is, it needs time to settle and think, if not consciously, subconsciously. We don't just go from movement into movement into movement straight after. There are moments of settle in between. But on the whole, another good shot. I really like this character. Like I said, he's super cute. So this one is Last Journey Together. It's a very dramatic scene. Is this their last journey together because they're about to get hit by an asteroid or something? Is this like Land Before Time vibes? Are they all going to die? Is that why this is their last journey together? That's very sad. I just actually realized that. Is that what's happening? Oh, shame. So it's a very dramatic scene. I like you've got like the thunder and stuff happening over there. You've got these big boys plodding along on their last journey together. You've got these little guys fluttering around. That's very cool. These like little details. Whoa, that guy got gotten. I like that too. That's a cool little thing that you don't maybe not notice first, but this guy along there, he's just living his best life, and all of a sudden this douchebag comes and snaps him up. Wow. But maybe it's actually a mercy because he's not going to get burned by the meteorite. So, joke's on the other guys, right? So I feel like it's a very cool shot. If you're just watching it, like, I mean, there's not much you could really say. I like how when he walks, you've got like the fat swinging. He's got all his skin reacting and stuff. That's very cool. I do feel like these guys, because they're massive, obviously, they're these huge dinos, their movements are just lacking a little bit of weight. As he puts his weight down on the next leg, he could kind of go down a little bit. It's lacking a little bit, I feel, in like follow through, And there's some secondary animation that I feel like could be going on the neck, as he walks, because it's such a long neck. As he puts his weight down on his next leg, his neck's going to sort of bob down a little bit. Same with his tail. Once it comes into shot over here, I feel like there could just be a bit more secondary animation there and bringing in a bit more feeling of the weight of the creature. And these guys in the front over here, I can't even tell really if they are actually like making progress, moving forward. It sort of just looks like they're standing on the edge, waving their tails, like not as if they're actually moving forward. Like maybe they're actually walking in place. That's the sort of feeling I get, but maybe that's because of the camera movements. Not 100% sure. They look like maybe he was. Maybe it's just the angle. But they also just, I feel like it could all just have a bit more weight to their actions. But that's pretty much the only thing I would say. These bird things that we've got flying around, it's a little confusing because They look like birds in shape, but their wings are like bug wings, if you know what I mean. They don't have sort of a bone system or a skin system because they're not really flapping the way bird wings flap, in the sense of how they don't have, the curve to the wing as it flaps. They're very rigid, the structure of the wing, almost like it's made from like, dragonfly wings, or like a beetle wing, like a carapace, like something very stiff. But their flight patterns are like a bird, not like a bug, like a bug or dragonfly or whatever, sort of darts around, hovers in the air, darts around. So those creatures to me are they're a little bit drawing, because when he first flies up, you think it's like a giant bug, like a dragonfly or something, and then the shape is like a bird. So I don't know if maybe the wings could have a bit of a curve to them so they look more like birds, or otherwise if the design of those creatures could be more bug-like. That might help that matter then, just to be clear on actually what they are. Because what the creature is, like its form, even if it's a made-up creature, if it's a creature that looks like a lizard, you expect it to react and animate like a lizard, if you know what I mean. So it's the same sort of concept there. Or if it's a humanoid, you expect them to move and behave and operate like a human, even if they're not a human. Okay, so the next one, this will be the last one, Dinosaur animation. Little birdie guy. It's nice. Oh, that's very cool. He's a cute little dude as well. So this is cool. He's pretty cute. I feel like when he trips there, you almost miss it. It could be a little more. If he just went a little lower there as he lands, just as he catches himself. Bend the leg lower there. Bring the body just a little lower. Because you could almost miss it. I mean, if the branch wasn't as big, if you were just looking at the action itself, you wouldn't actually know that he had almost tripped on something. And then I would just, the neck movement over there as he sort of turns his head that way, it sort of feels like he should actually, if you look at a bird, I mean, they turn their head quite a lot to look at the side of their eye, because their eyes are not like ours. They're not looking with both eyes forward. So they turn their head to the side quite a lot so that they can take a look at things. So I would do that a little bit in the beginning here, just to establish that whole bird vibe. But on the whole, it's a good character. It's difficult to animate characters like this, so it's a really great animation. So well done. You have a really great portfolio, and your skills are very good. And it's great that you have your breakdowns also in there. So even though I'm critiquing animation here, it's great that, you can show the process. It'd be good maybe to have like a turntable or something, but that's another issue. So on the whole, it's a great portfolio. Well done. You should be very proud of yourself. And that is it for tonight. Thank you for watching, guys. As always, I hope it was helpful. If you want to check out some of my other stuff, I do have a YouTube channel. It's just Robyn O, where I give advice on the animation industry, getting into the industry, advice on portfolios, and just general stuff about the animation industry. So if you want to check that out, go ahead. Otherwise, if you want your stuff to be critiqued, there is the Google Doc. I'm not sure if I can put a link here. me see. I'm just trying to see if I can put that link. Okay, I can't find it now, but I will post the link to the Google Doc next week. I'll make sure I have it prepared. And thank you for watching. Have a great week. Bye.